Everybody knows backup and disaster recovery are huge concerns for IT professionals, but what if your current solution isn't providing the protection you think it is? On June 20th, Cove Data Protection from Enable is partnering with Microsoft to show you the ways traditional backup and disaster recovery are leaving you vulnerable to ransomware, and how a more modern cloud-first approach can close those gaps. This webinar will change the way you see disaster recovery, so don't miss it. Visit gocove.com/Microsoft to register.
On today's Smart 7, Reform launched their contract with the people, Putin heads to North Korea, and lots more. It's Tuesday 18th of June, it's International Sushi Day, and happy birthday Paul McCartney.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Last week may have been manifesto week in the general election campaign, but not everybody seemed to get the memo. Both Reform UK and the SNP launched their manifesto on Monday with quite different policies in mind. Monday saw another poll that put Reform ahead of the Tories, and leader Nigel Farage has been busy claiming the role of opposition party leader for himself. The Reform manifesto, which is in fact called a contract with the people, contains massive tax cuts, over $150 billion in spending pledges, and a promise to cut NHS waiting lists to zero in 2 years. And Nigel says it's not a manifesto anyway.
We're going through a breakdown of trust in politics, where manifestos keep making the same promises, and no one believes now, frankly, a word that they say, which is why today, specifically, is not a manifesto launch.
Meanwhile, SNP leader John Swinney was in the Outer Hebrides with a totally different plan.
Our manifesto will be the alternative for Scotland. A manifesto which is about ending austerity, ending Brexit, and establishing Scotland as an independent country with the power and the ability to take our own decisions.
With no sign of a turnaround in the Tories' polling fortunes, the focus from the government party appears to have switched to preventing what they're calling a Labour supermajority. Defence Secretary Grant Shapps was doing the media rounds on Monday, and he was one of the first senior Tory ministers to accept that it is now unlikely that the Tories can win the election.
I'm entirely realistic about this. I know that we are the underdogs, but I still believe that it is possible for us to win. I also believe it would be incredibly dangerous for this country to give a blank cheque to Starmer.
Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was on an oil rig in the North Sea, presumably not to avoid the media, but he's still determined that his party can win. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer was on the campaign trail in Hampshire, and he says his focus is to make sure that the UK doesn't find itself in another cost of living crisis under a Labour government.
I know what it feels like not to be able to pay your bills, and that's the position too many people are in now, where having to take on a second job, or even walking around the supermarket, looking at the price of some of the stuff and deciding I'm not going to do that this week. They may not seem like big things, but they really bear down on people. So we have to change the economy to make sure that never, ever happens again.
With no sign of progress towards agreement on the US ceasefire proposal in Gaza, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been coming under increasing political pressure at home. Last week saw Benny Gantz quit the war cabinet, and Monday saw Netanyahu dissolve it altogether in a bid to stave off a new political threat from the far right. The move comes amid growing discontent over how the war in Gaza is progressing and what the endgame should be, and leaves control of operations firmly in the hands of the Prime Minister. With pressure increasing from international allies too, former Israeli PM Ehud Olmert says the emergency coalition government can't have long left in power.
Sooner than later, the distrust and the rioting and demonstrations in the streets will eventually topple the government. It's just a matter of time.
Tuesday will see Russian President Vladimir Putin hit the road for a state visit to North Korea. He's due to meet with Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un to discuss closer security cooperation and more supplies of ammunition and missiles, with South Korean sources estimating that over 5 million shells have already been shipped to Russia's front line with Ukraine. As Russia and North Korea grow closer, the US, South Korea and Japan have moved to formalise their own security partnership. South Korean Defence Minister Shin Won-sik told Bloomberg News that he's expecting to attend a summit in the US later this year.
We consider the transfer of key technologies related to nuclear and missile programs as the red line. So we are having discussions to decide with the US and share with like-minded countries.
Still to come on the Smart 7. Andy Murray is eyeing retirement and Daniel Radcliffe picks up a Tony right after this.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month slows. Full terms at mintmobile.com.
Welcome back.
Monday saw more Euro action with Romania beating Ukraine 3-0, Slovakia creating a major upset by beating Belgium 1-0, while France beat Austria 1-0. Football is not the only game in town though, as the clock is ticking down to this year's Wimbledon. This year's tournament will be missing Rafa Nadal and possibly Novak Djokovic, who is battling to recover from a knee injury. Former winner Andy Murray also has one eye on retirement, but he's hoping to make it to both Wimbledon and the Olympics first.
There's lots of things that factor into retiring from sport. Like, I love playing tennis, but if physically you're not able to play to the level you want to, those things factor into the decisions.
Early Monday morning our time saw the 77th annual Tony Awards hand out gongs to the best and brightest on Broadway. There were a host of familiar names picking up prizes, including Succession's Jeremy Strong for his role in An Enemy of the People and Sarah Paulson for her role in Appropriate. A musical about a British rock band called Stereophonic had made history as the most nominated in Tony history, and it picked up 5 awards on the night. Close behind was Merrily We Roll Along, which got 4 awards, including one for Broadway favourite Jonathan Groff and former Harry Potter star Daniel Radcliffe. He was delighted and surprised to get the recognition.
When I finished Potter, I had no idea what my career was going to be. I'd already started doing some stage stuff, but I didn't know what the future held at all. So yeah, to have had the last year like playing Weird Al and also doing Merrily We Roll Along is kind of awesome.
When you hear that there's a movie called The Fabulous Four on the way, you might be inclined to picture the Marvel crew pulling on their spandex. In this case, it's more likely Spanx. The Fabulous Four mightn't have any superheroes, but it has a host of acting legends, including Bette Midler, Megan Mullally, Susan Sarandon and Abbott Elementary Emmy winner Cheryl Lee Ralph. The plot revolves around the girls reuniting for a surprise wedding, and it looks like a lot of fun. It hits cinemas on July 26th.
Come on, Alice, open the box. Will you be my bridesmaid?
What? John died just 2 months ago, so she got out there kind of quick.
It takes longer to cancel a gym membership.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day.
Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Whether you're a morning person or a bedtime procrastinator, everyone deserves a mattress that works for their style. And you'll find the best mattress for you at Ashley. The new Temper-Adapt collection at Ashley brings you one-of-a-kind body-conforming technology, making every sleep tailored to be your best. The collection also features cool-to-the-touch covers and motion absorption to help minimize sleep disruptions from partners, pets, or kids. Shop the all-new Temper-Adapt collection at Ashley, in-store or online at ashley.com. Ashley, for the love of home.